My friends, welcome to another episode of the Nuclear Heatwave Wrestling Podcast, brought to you by Mafia Sports Report. I, as always, am Dr. Love, and of course, no introductions needed. And we start the show. We got Sauce Bronson, baby. Let's go.
Listen, I'm the light-skinned man with the ashiest hands. Let's go.
Patent pending. Just saying, we got a lot of patent pending on this show. But yeah, we got some cool stuff to talk about today. Of course, obviously, it is the continuation of the roads to WrestleMania, basically. But what I wanted to do a little bit different was, I'm gonna briefly go over a couple real quick things, but mostly these next couple weeks, I really wanted to go over just in a sense, kind of go back and look at old WrestleManias, which I've actually been rewatching a lot of old WrestleManias. And it's been pretty fun just watching them, kind of putting them on background, then rewatching, and just seeing how, as wrestling fans, and we've been fans for a long time, we're pretty much the same age. And, and then there's different people, like when we had Big O on here, who was younger, and we had some people that are older that have watched it, and how it's changed throughout the years, and what we think is like, oh, this is the best stuff ever, or this stuff's bad. Back then, you watch some of that stuff, you're like, wait a minute, we thought this was good, or we thought this was bad, or you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna kind of go over some of our personal favorite highlights and stuff, match wise, kind of separating it though, doing like non-title matches, and then title matches for the men's. The next week we'll kind of go over the women's, and throughout WrestleMania. But there were just a couple quick things I wanted to talk about that just kind of popped up just recently. Obviously, if anybody's been in the dirt sheets and everything else, everyone's talking about Bray Wyatt. About apparently, and one rumor could just blow up and be like a wildfire. And that's what I hate about the rumors and how everything just spreads so quickly. So apparently, there was something coming out saying Bray Wyatt was not going to be available for WrestleMania. Now, mind you, this is not how it initially came out. Initially, it was that he was not at home. He was got a physical issue going on, so he was not going to be wrestling. That was all it was. Then it blew up to, oh, well, he's got creative issues with McMahon, because McMahon's back, because why is there Lesnar, Omos, this. And then it turned into he's injured, he's missing WrestleMania. No. So it came out today. He posted a picture of literally his hand with a broken finger. Literally, the finger was like bent completely sideways, broken. That's a physical issue he has. He'll wrestle at WrestleMania, or he'll have a spot at WrestleMania. He'll have a little big thing he did, but he's going to be there. There's no creative issue. It's nothing about that. But people like that story that kind of tells a better story, that gets more hits on social media and stuff like that. So that's where it kind of blew up. But when he felt like, I guess I just have to show people, yeah, I guess I can't flip people off the right way anymore for a little while or whatever,
At least for a few weeks.
So that's my take on it. No, it's not a creative thing. It's nothing like that. Yeah, he did too many of those little spider backhand things, and then like, oh, oops, and my hand's broken.
Remember Bray Wyatt first came out when he was like, the hillbilly, I guess you would call it the Duck Dynasty gimmick. Remember one of his catchphrases when he first started?
Gosh, I can't
It wasn't
remember.
follow the buzzards. It was another one.
I can't remember, Sauce.
Well, he used to say, "Man, they lied to you."
I know.
It all comes full circle.
It really does come full circle. Gosh, that's pretty funny and very relevant for today's wrestling community. So, but I just had to kind of put that out there because that news has been kind of popping up in the last few days, and to me, people are still going to complain about it. People are still going to throw gasoline on the fire, but look, him posting a picture of his finger busted. That's all I need to know. So he'll be fine. He'll either wrestle a match there, or he's going to, just like I said, it's going to be some big spot, and it'll be a real quick kind of thing. Whatever. So now the other thing that I thought was pretty cool was this week was the release week of WrestleMania 2K23, and because some people have already gotten the game, played it. There's been some very fun secret characters. Sauce, have you been looking up on this? Have you seen any of this?
No, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to wrestling games, in the last decade, I'm pretty much blind as far as what's going on. The only game I've been kind of keeping an eye on is AEW Fight Forever, if it ever comes out.
Yeah.
I'll just be keeping my ear to that. But like WWE games, usually I don't know nothing until it's in front of my face.
So I will have to tell you a couple things here that were very funny because it's such a self-aware type thing. So this year's WrestleMania game is the showcase of John Cena, similar to last year where it was all about Rey Mysterio and his greatest matches throughout his career. This is John Cena. Obviously, he's going to have a lot of matches in there. So when it comes down to surprise characters or like unlockables, there is an unlockable character. Now people don't know how to get the character yet. They just know it because they saw it was online. The data mine have already broken, found it. You can actually play as an action figure version of John Cena.
Okay, I saw that, but I didn't know if that was real.
It's absolutely real. There was data mined. It's in the game. So literally, you've seen him. He's little action figure, got the different posability, the straight face. I mean, that would have been so funny on its own, except for what you get when you beat the showcase. You then get Super Cena, and Super Cena comes out, and he's invisible, except for his clothes. He literally comes out, and his hat, shirt, but he's invisible. Yep, you really couldn't see him, and I'm telling you. Great. They showed him go in the ring, and it's as ridiculous as it sounds. Like, goes in the ring, got clothes on, but it's an invisible model.
That's great.
It's called Super Cena, by the way, so they're very aware of that. So I just had to bring that up because I thought, you know what, there's going to be some more stuff, obviously, but those two things alone, it's pretty funny. I got to give them some credit for that. Now, if they just fix some of those small quality of life issues that you, and if our friends playing the game, what we're talking about. Those need to be fixed too. So, but
I will say since their triumph return after 2 years, like last year's game was actually pretty solid. Like I was impressed. It was my first WWE game I actually bought in like over 10 years.
Yeah. So it does look like we do have a couple chats here. Looks like we do have a D-Town guy. Hey, what's up, fellas? What's up to you, my friend? My friend. Just, as always, love talking about wrestling, anything related. And you were Sauce, you were talking about Fight Forever? Well, D-Town guy says it's not coming out until forever.
Yeah. Now they got a dispute with GCW as far as the fight. Somebody has a Fight Forever, like some type of gimmick and moniker. So now they're working on a separate, like they're working on some type of separate, not buyout, but like basically some way where they basically have to pay GCW.
Why couldn't they just name it after one of their shows? Why couldn't they just do that and be done with? And then
Yeah, just all in or all out or revolution.
right, exactly. Oh, it does look like we do have another chat here from CBM. No FTR, not interested.
But you can
You know what?
create them.
Well, here's the funny thing. This game's going to come out. FTR is back. They're clearly going to come back and win the AEW titles, tag team titles, and then they're not even going to be in the game, and they'll probably be either in the hunt for them or they'll be champions. I'll tell you the logic behind that, right?
They'll come, and I think depends on like they might be, depends on how long the contract is. They will probably be not the first wave of DLC, but maybe like the second wave of DLC. Because I'm sure, like, you got to see when people work on a video game. It don't take that long.
They gotta get the game out first before they can talk about
True. But you figure by then, like, I'm sure it doesn't take long to make a character model. I mean, in 2023.
Yeah, that's true. But they should have just called the game All In or All Out or whatever. Just go off of one of your show names, so then you don't have to worry about any licensing issue. But yeah, no, they had to pick a name that no one did research on if it was patented. It was patented by a wrestling company, nonetheless. So it'd be one thing if it was like a patented by a company that's not wrestling related, and then maybe they have a problem with it. No, the wrestling company they did it. My God.
Good job, Tony. Good job, Tony.
It's TK. Come on. It's okay. Oh Lord. It's okay, TK. Pat on the head.
It's okay, TK.
Shall make that shirt, There you go. Then he sits in the corner eating his ice cream,
Yep.
But so yeah, that's just kind of the real quick things I wanted to chat about there. But as I kind of mentioned earlier, I wanted to kind of go over just in WrestleMania's past, some of our favorite matches, either ours personally like that were not for the title, like a non-title match, and there's been plenty of them, and there's definitely going to be overlap. But it is kind of like our opinions on it, like stuff about what made them great, what to either you personally, us personally, or to you guys. We'd like to hear from you guys too. But yeah, non-title matches at previous WrestleManias, and I feel like this one just has to get off the top, right off the top, Sauce, because it's on top of both our lists. But we have to say Rock versus Hogan. The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania X8, baby, 18. I mean, what else can you say? This match should have been the main event. Let's repeat that. This match should have been the main event. But they were locked into the whole Royal Rumble winner gets the main event.
Well, they were locked into Triple H complaining that, at the time that, until he got his way.
Yep. Yeah, and obviously that return from Triple H was a big deal, like a huge pop from coming back. Like that was all good, but no one could have seen that ridiculous meteoric rise in the fans with Hogan, with the NWO coming back. I mean, I just rewatched it the other day, and it's insane. That crowd, it's insane. You're talking about, and also a Canadian crowd where it can look. Go to Canada some more. You've already proved it right there with the Elimination Chamber. Yeah. Even without Sammy, they were still hot, But with that match, the build up to the match was great. It was so good, and just the promos were great. Some of the Rock's best promo work. When he did the promo against the raise the Ramon, go, and then look, we got Big Daddy Cool. And he just making fun. And I'm sitting here just rolling like they're trying not to break character. Hogan's sitting there with his serious but like trying not to laugh, face. And yeah, it's I don't know. Sauce, what do you think, man? What?
Listen, I've always said this. If you try to show somebody who never watches wrestling doesn't really care for wrestling. You just kind of like want them to just experience what wrestling is like. This is the perfect match right here. To show them the crowd, the intensity, these larger life characters from start to finish. And mind you, I always say charisma in wrestling, no matter what promotion you work at, it's charisma over talent all day, every day. Once again, because you got two prime examples in that ring of two guys who are not gonna put on no wrestling clinic anytime soon, nor was they gonna put one on anytime back then. But all it was just the charisma alone. And that match itself is the reason why it's like in everybody's top 3.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, what's crazy too is like just the sitting there listening to the crowd, and that's where the audible happens. Like, I'm going to fast forward to after the match, but then we're going to go back a little bit and talk about a little bit of the match.
Yeah.
So the match, the crowd was so hot for Hogan at that point. They were just so hot, booing The Rock, forcing The Rock into a heel turn in a sense, almost basically, and they did an audible to send out Nash Hall to go after Hogan and like turn on Hogan, like to, beat him up.
Yeah.
And it was not even because they were like, well, let's do this. Have The Rock come back and help him do all this stuff. It's insane. And it's insane about that. And there was a ref bump, but ref bumps can work when they're properly utilized and you only use one. The second you go into 2, 3, then your match is overbooked and it's a big mess. But the use of the strap, use of the weightlifter's belt, just the fact that the perfect time for him to start hulking up, the crowd went ballistic. The crowd was insane. Yeah. Wham! And then he hit up with it. It was just perfect, 2 generations.
I never forget. I was at my Uncle Grayland's house. We all went over there to watch it. And I remember I was just on the edge of my seat. Now, mind you, all these it's easy to remember WrestleManias because they're the same age as me. Like, I'm 39, WrestleMania 39 is like a couple weeks away. Easy to remember. So, mind you, this is WrestleMania 18. 18 years old, and I'm just sitting there, just like on the edge of my seat. Because first of all, we never thought this would even happen in a million gajillion years. We never thought it was gonna happen.
Nope.
And then I'm just sitting there, just the whole time. I'm like, this is the greatest wrestling match. This is the greatest wrestling match I've ever seen. And y'all and those who personally know me and watch this podcast, y'all know that I love me some Daddy Angle. But I'll tell you, like watching that match from start to finish,
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it changed literally the game for that next year, 2 years, because booking had to change. He immediately went to the hybrid Hollywood Hulk Hogan in the red and yellow.
Yep.
He, Triple H, who had won the title, the undisputed belt, got the new beautiful undisputed belt, which I have right there. Hello, the guy. Great title. But then it's like, well, nope. Nope. Hogan's better. Hogan's in now. So you got to drop it to Hogan. I would have done the same thing. The iron's hot. You always hear that the iron's hot strike. That was like a meteorite. This is not like you strike with a meteorite with it. So give the belt to Hogan, and then Hogan has it for a month. There you go. Loses it to Undertaker, and then it kind of moves on. But merch sales. I mean, he had a few good matches with some people, but it was insane.
She had a pretty decent run. I mean, as far as coming back, like you said, he had with Rock, he had. With Rock, and then like I said, Taker. Then he did some stuff with Angle. Put Brock Lesnar over.
He did on that. He won the tag team titles with Edge, first time in his career as tag team champion.
So actually, I mean, that was a pretty solid run considering what he was and what he had to work with.
Yeah,
and that version of Hogan was literally the last of what he had in that tank.
Yep, it really was.
And then
we don't talk about Impact. We don't talk about TNA.
We don't talk about that. And mind you, this is the same Hogan that sets up, Hogan versus McMahon at 19. So, but
and I just watched that today, by the way. So that's
yeah.
and that was So we'll talk. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But what I will say, I'm gonna just pop a couple chats here because
it
looks like D-Town Guy J, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Which one?
Yeah. By the way,
I'm pretty sure. Well, obviously,
Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. Oh, and then we got some more here. Trust me, we got them here now. We'll just let's talk about this one real quick, just because we already got popped up, and we'll do the same when we kind of move down the list here.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee we both have this on here. I'm going with his first match. His first match at WrestleMania 25 is the one I want to go.
That's the only one you go with.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That match was just insane. Insane how good that match was. Look at Shawn Michaels when he came back and how his back was miraculously fixed to where he could have these 5-star plus matches with people. I think it's insane. It's after he was shelved, he was done. He was donezo. It's crazy to think he comes back and then just can pull out these amazing matches. Absolutely crazy. It's so that match. Still, the whole that spot with the damn cameraman though. Oh my gosh,
for those who don't know, that was Snooker's son, aka Domino.
Yeah, it was.
Completely botched it. Like Undertaker literally was out the ring. Undertaker was like, and then that was pretty much how that spot went.
Oh my gosh.
But the piggy, as far as for D-Town Guy Jay, we just, D-Town, if you don't mind, I'm gonna just start calling you either D-Town or DJ, one of those two, if you don't mind. But hey, listen, if you want me to refer to D-Town Guy Jay, let me know.
There you D-Town,
go. We're assuming that you're talking about WrestleMania 25 because that was.
I think he did say both. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. Don't get me wrong. What was it? 26. So we get the rematch, and it's like when you had that first bite of that McRib, the first bite you ever had of McRib, you're like, man, this sounds just amazing. And then the second time you try the McRib, when it comes back out, you're like, it's good, but it don't hit the same. And that's basically the Mania 26 with the basically career versus streak. And I think what kind of soured that match for me was the fact that Taker was visibly hurt, like he was hurt within the first 10 minutes of the match because he could his movement was just off. So a lot of stuff they did in 25, obviously they couldn't really redo, and they couldn't do as far as for 26. But basically to wrap it all up, basically definitely 25.
Yeah, it was a good match, really good match, and these guys can just go. And that's when they could go. I just remember. I remember watching. See, what's funny to me is this: Shawn Michaels, to me, that's a good match, but I personally think he's had better matches, non-title matches at WrestleMania. But this match just, it was really good. It's one of Undertaker's best matches. So there you go. If you want to go with I'll have to say that for sure. But it does look like we have CBM and Brett versus Owen. Yep, the opening match of WrestleMania 10, which, see, bam, right there. Because talk about an opening match that's insane and so good and showcased how good and how sad it is that Owen Hart's not with us no longer. I mean, this is a pure wrestling technician match. This match was phenomenal. It was phenomenal, and the storyline's already built in there, brother versus brother. And the fact that Owen gets the win there, I mean, it was huge. It was absolutely huge. So I remember watching this match, with my brother, who shares the initial CBM too, so that's interesting. But yeah, so and again, depending on when you watched wrestling, if you watched wrestling back early enough to when you were seeing Bret Hart and that wrestling, you really appreciated it more than later where if you didn't really watch much of his, or you watched his last stuff in like WCW, which I'm sorry you had to see that. So because I had to, but no, it was a great match. Bret Hart, he's on many lists for WrestleMania match moments, world title moments, and other stuff like that. So it was a really good match. And again, just makes me so angry thinking about that Owens wasn't here,
Now,
and
now that you mention that, I think about like imagine if Owen was still here with us and he was a producer, one of the producers. Just imagine the ribs and stuff he would be pulling even in this day and age as far as match ribs on these young guys. Man.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh,
then we got let's see.
Oh wait, we do it.
Papa Mafia with a yeah. So listen, guys, we love us some LA Knight here. So if you pop in we'll right back at you. And then another one for Papa Mafia. The champ is here, and to that we say, "Boo!"
It's okay, Papa Mafia. Don't worry. When WrestleMania comes in 2.5 weeks, this guy right here is going to take the belt home, or this guy is going to take the belt home. Hey, I'm giving sauce. Yeah. I'm giving you some props. We're getting that belt
I boo
home.
Everybody. If I'm not champion, I'm booing you.
Oh, that's great. There we go. But let's see here. Yep. So D-Town said we got Stone Cold versus Bret. Yep. At WrestleMania 13. This is another one of those like game-changing moments in wrestling. We talked about Rock versus Hogan in the sense how it was just so milestone type thing. But this match was the match that cemented Austin as the character he was. Absolutely, and it's absolutely crazy to think about that match now. Like now, every time you see it, they on WWE at least they'll have to like the black and white filter because he's crimson mask, he's busted open, but still it's the wrestling in it, the fact he passes out in it, which again in our last episode we were talking about Revolution and finishes that were incorrect in my opinion. You pass out, you look better as a wrestler if you pass out rather than tap out. If you're like a chicken shit heel or something, you can tap out. Yeah, that works. That works for that character. But if you pass out, then you look better. And then that right there, just the shifting of the wrestling fans. Absolutely. Actually, and I literally was about to say it, but D-Town said it right out of my mouth. The turning point in his career.
Oh, yeah.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true right there.
Because I feel like, especially if you a tough guy, when passing out just works so much better.
Yeah.
Because it shows that you got grit. It doesn't hurt. The loss doesn't hurt you. Well, whoever you putting over, whoever you doing the job to. It just makes both guys look good at the end of the day.
Right. Exactly.
Now,
but yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to ask for you one of your matches, man.
Okay, so a non-title. I forgot how many of these we were supposed to.
Yeah, we were just going to do like 5 and 5 each, but honestly, it doesn't matter. We can do it. It's our show. We can do whatever we want. So
that's right.
But yeah, give me a match, man.
So mine's. It's funny you mention HBK because mine's one that definitely is a favorite one of mine is HBK versus Y2J at WrestleMania 19.
I had my finger on it because I was like, that's what you're going to say. And I just watched it 2 hours ago on TV, on the network.
Now, mind you, just 1 year ago, we had Hogan versus Rock. We had Muhammad Ali versus Tyson. We had, Will Chamberlain versus Michael Jordan. We had Tom Brady versus Pat Mahomes. Now we got Y2J versus HBK. Future GOAT versus the young GOAT. And man, listen, I think to this day that still was like the best match of that night. And don't get me wrong, 19 had a lot. There was a lot of bangers on that card.
There was
a lot, but that match right there, because that kind of showed everybody that HBK is back.
Yeah, and that was, like I said, it's crazy you just said that because I just watched the whole show just today. And it was funny because Jericho's done interviews about this and talking about when people ask about what his best matches he's had, and he will always circle back to that match being the best of his career. And rewatching it again today, it's so good. The story based was so good. Yep. Jericho full on heel. You were my mentor. You were the one I looked up to. And then, again, Shawn Michaels looking like a clone of himself, doing moves, insane moves where you thought his back just a few years earlier was shot. Yep. And the best part too was Shawn Michaels got the win on a roll up. Well, not a roll up like a traditional one, but he got it on a great looking roll up with a pin. And it was perfect way to win. Sometimes those always will win better. Those type of wins. And at the end, they go for a hug. They go hug, and then Jericho low blows them, of course.
Oh yeah.
And so good. Oh,
because like you said, the roll up was so good, it was perfect because at the end of the roller coaster, it's like, Shawn Michaels, he was like, it's at that moment he's like, if I got a small window left to try to get this victory. This is my moment of opportunity. It was like as soon as he saw the opening, get the roll up. Because granted, he could have sweet chinned them and then pinned 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But I feel like with the roll up, because it was a perfect finish. And then of course it led up to, Jericho being salty about it. And then, give him a little bit of payback. So at the end of the day, Michaels got the win, but Jericho still looked great. Out of all of it.
Oh, for sure, man. And that's why I was like, the second you were even said, I'm like, boom, that's what you're gonna say, and absolutely on that. But I'll tell you right now. Well, before we go on to the one I had right here, it looks like we do have D-Town with another one. We do have Angle versus Shawn Michaels. So, I can't remember off the top of my head, Sauce, which WrestleMania that was. Do you remember off the top of your head?
I believe it was WrestleMania 21. Because
22.
Yeah, it's 21 because 22, Angle was defending the belt in that triple threat versus Mysterio and Orton, I believe. So this was 21.
Yep.
Because in 20, Angle he went against Guerrero for the WWE title, and Guerrero
yes.
retained.
Yep.
I believe this is 21. Because I think this was Hollywood.
Gotcha.
And actually, I mean, it was pretty. Yeah, they definitely put on the clinic, and I feel like now if you try to show some of these younger fans that match, I feel like they might be tuned out. The first 6 minutes, I think will kind of turn them off because it was how slow paced it was. Because remember, Sean had Kurt in that headlock for almost 7 minutes or so, just trying to keep him floored and contained. Which worked because we all know how once Angle gets started, Angle, he becomes like the juggernaut, and once he gets going, he don't stop. So Sean, basically, trying to be the ring technician, just trying to keep him try to slow him down as long as he could.
Mm-hmm. And that works. And that's ring awareness, and that's ring.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Technician. Well, no, you're right. You're right about being the technician too. In the mat. I love the juggernaut analogy, especially when Angle would get there. But you're right. Some newer fans might look at that kind of like, what's going on?
Like there's no super kicking going on. Why is this match taking forever?
Oh my God, there's no super kicking. There's no side slaps. Side slaps. Here we go. But
But yeah, just
yeah, I
I
got you.
remember I used to watch these pay-per-views at a certain point. I used to watch them at the Imagine Theater where you could actually go in there and watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I remember just being on the edge of my seat for that match as well. Like the whole theater, everybody just going crazy with these two. And I remember when they was setting up at the Rumble, where Angle gets eliminated and Snatch and Sean out. I'm like, let's go, Mania. Give me these two right here. I'm good to go. And that was actually pretty solid Mania too. But like this match, this match was great. The
Yeah.
Kurt versus Sean. Surprisingly, it didn't go on my list because I figured you probably would have had it on yours already. So,
Believe it or not, I didn't have that one on my list, but I have a match on here that I don't think you have, but I could because mainly I just rewatched it. I thought the storytelling in this match was good, was really good, but there was also other factors. But the match I'm talking about is Undertaker versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania X8. So
yep.
this match, the reason why it's interesting is Ric Flair was co-owner of WWE. That storyline that was going on. They made a big Undertaker was full on heel. He was the badass American Undertaker.
Yep.
But he was heel, complete heel. Like he wanted Ric Flair. Ric Flair's like, no. Then he just kept going after everyone. He started beating up David Flair, which is okay. I mean, David Flair's fine to beat up, whatever. But he went to go beat him up. The only time David Flair even shows up on WWE, but he beats him up and forces Ric Flair to make this match. They had this whole not court, but like a council meeting. You have to sign away your rights to do this match, and then you can get them back after the match is over or whatever. And it's like okay, so you get this match, and it again when you see an Undertaker in a full on heel before. The streak was such a the streak. That was what I liked about this match because you didn't hear them. The streak. No, it was first Undertaker wanting to beat the living crap out of Ric Flair, and Ric Flair getting some good hits in there. Dirtiest player in the game. And remember, at this point, Ric Flair wasn't really wrestling. He wasn't like a wrestler then. He did like. He's only started doing some stuff a little bit after, like he started doing stuff after that, but he was not like a combatant in a sense, if you would think about it.
Yeah, he wasn't really like full time even, or even
no. That's why I laugh about it. I laugh at like thinking about that. Like, but in the match, of course, Ric Flair bleeds in the match, but he takes some good bumps. It's like a 18-minute match, if I'm just guessing, just because I remember it went a while, and it was at one point Undertaker beats him so bad he picks him up. 2 count. No, not gonna pin you yet. And almost cost him the match later. And then of course, he ends up beating them. And then Ric Flair gets up, and then the fans are cheering for him. So that match to me, because of the fact that as the Undertaker, it was memorable to me because Undertaker was a heel. He didn't care about the streak. Wasn't even really talked about. Not really. And Ric Flair, basically one of his first matches he actually had. So, yeah, it was that's why a lot of people don't think about that match because there's been so many other Ric Flair or Undertaker matches that you would think about first. But that one, mainly because, again, I had just rewatched it and I was like, this is a sleeper hit. This right here was a sleeper hit. So,
look at Dr. Love with the deep cuts over here.
Don't make me. Don't make me. Delete. Don't.
But yeah, I remember watching it too because it's almost like it kind of makes you wonder because I think at the time the Dudley Boys were still there, of course, and it makes you wonder when Bully Ray when Bubba was coming with the Bully Ray character. I wonder did he get any like inspiration during that particular Taker run because Taker was pretty much Bully Ray before Bully Ray was Bully Ray.
Oh
during that heel American Badass run.
That's actually I think a really good point. Never even thought of that, but he definitely would have been. And I'd say he had to have because when he was the heel biker Taker, man, it was good. Like the fans weren't even cheering him; they hated him so much.
Oh yeah, they hated.
And that it was just great seeing that, because Like, I'm sorry, you can only cheer the guy so much, and yeah, the legend, one of a kind in wrestling generation. I get it, but when I want to watch a match, give me the heel worked in that match. So that's why it's definitely on my list
Then
for
it's
it.
funny. Then it's funny because like what 4 months later, he just shows up at SummerSlam with the American flag, and we all forgot to boo him. We just had cheering him.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Because
well.
did he show up against the Un-Americans? I think at SummerSlam that year.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's because I've been watching these WrestleManias, and I just watched 19 today.
Yeah,
19 is the infamous Nathan Jones versus A Train and Big Show, and Nathan Jones,
yeah,
didn't wrestle because he was knocked out because he can't wrestle. Wait, can't
yeah,
wrestle. So yeah, it was a complete change, obviously, but that's how wrestling is. You're going to
yeah.
change your gimmick to suit the needs of the company. And
Yep.
but so how about you, Sauce? Throw me a
All right.
match out there that you
So I'm gonna give you another Taker match.
all right.
I'm gonna go with. See, what I love about these Taker matches, I want to say almost every Taker match that ever happened. I mean, well, I will say every Taker match from Attitude Era on. No, actually, no. I'm gonna say every Taker Mania match that happened. Taker came out on top, and even though the person lost, it didn't hurt. The loss never hurt his opponent.
Yep. I
And
got my
this
finger.
next,
I got my finger on it, so I'm gonna wait.
and my next Taker match is a guy who definitely, even though he lost, it definitely boosted him into the stratosphere, and that is Mister RKO Randy Orton.
Actually, was not what I thought. All right, all right.
Who's gonna say Mark Henry?
No, no. I had another one on here, but I'll talk about that after.
Because I was juggling between him and Mark Henry. Because like I like the Mark Henry casket match. Because even though Mark Henry, that's when he was starting to go on that Hall of Fame run,
Yeah.
that monster heel run. Even though he lost to Taker, got him. What's that? It didn't hurt him. But yeah, I'm definitely going with Orton. The Legend Killer, the young Orton. He already won the title, which was one of the worst booking decisions for him at the time.
Yeah.
But Triple H quickly took care of that a month later. And but with this Orton, yeah, like him versus Taker, and then the fact that Taker didn't mind when they did that setup where Taker was going for the tombstone, then they flipped it to Orton doing the tombstone.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember watching that going, "Oh my god, what the heck's going on?"
And the fact that Taker trusted him to like not screw that up, like years later with his decrepit body, he tried to do the same thing with Roman.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, with Taker or Orton, and yeah, Orton was on a monster heel push too at the time too. And with this match from start to finish, like I mean, then you get the antics from his dad trying to help dad, Cowboy Bob Orton just get it away, just make things worse.
Yeah, of course, and yeah, the Legend Killer thing was just it was so good. It was so good. He was going through all the legends. He was having great storylines with them. So of course it was like culminating to, all right, let's go. I got this guy. I got them. I got the Undertaker. And yeah, you don't. But it was like you said, it ended up being a really good match, And I still kind of laugh too if you think about it when you do lists like this. It's Undertaker like beat Evolution so many times. All the members of Evolution, so many.
Yep.
And
yeah, he's beat every member of Evolution at WrestleMania too.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he's donezo. They're all done. But that match was good. That was a good match.
Yeah, that was a match because I was juggling like, dude, I want to do Orton or Mark Henry. But yeah, actually, I feel like I put them like because they was like back to back in my mind. They just kind of jumbled together, as far as my likes or whatnot. But I definitely love. But that Orton versus Taker because at that time you hated Randy Orton, especially him having to he just beating up all your favorite heroes just one by one. Mick Foley, Harley Race, Flair for a second, I believe. Then Then he was beating up, McFoley. He was kicking McFoley's ass for 3 months.
Gosh, he was. Yep.
And then to the point where you legitimately feel bad for Foley. Like, come on, somebody.
Well, remember too, in that storyline, that match he had with Foley, that match when he took that bump on those thumbtacks, man.
Oh yeah,
that really kind of solidified the fact that this guy is going to be taking there's no good way to take that spot. He didn't have a shirt on. He took the spot, oh my God, Do you remember him coming back, Mick Foley, when he was an entrant at Royal Rumble, and he freaked him out? That was great. That was a great build up for that storyline too. So, oh my God, yeah.
And then what was I gonna say as far as the undertaker thing? Yeah, like you just legitimately. So going to this match, you legitimately you really just hated Orton. Like you just hoping somebody would just beat the crap out of Orton and get his up and comings.
Yep.
And definitely you got that from Taker. Yep. But yeah, back then, match was definitely a gem.
So the one that I actually put on here, okay, we'll go with that first. So with D-Town put on here for a new match that's happened relatively new was Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Yes, so that was actually, that was a very good match because you had, again, a really good build-up storyline around it. And these guys can work. So
in an empty arena.
In an empty friggin' arena. So just imagine getting these guys in front of an entire crowd of, tens of thousands of people and be able to work. So, and that's why you feel bad for people like them, Drew McIntyre. You feel bad for this guy who finally wins the world title and he has to win it at the Performance Center.
Yeah, it's basically he win in an empty building.
But that's a good one. Now, oh yeah, go ahead, Sauce. Sorry.
Oh no, my bad. Real quick, I was gonna say actually Owens versus Rollins was on my list too.
Boom. There you go.
Go ahead. Take it away, Doc.
Oh, you're good. So the one I put my finger on when you were saying was now D-Town said the same thing. Now Triple H Taker. Now here's my thing.
Which one?
There was two. I personally like 17x7 over 27. So
remember there was 3.
Oh yes. So I regardless, I personally like 17 or X.
Oh yeah, 17 was good
because just something about that match, taking another 25-minute match or something, and they went everywhere around that arena, like everywhere, and they beat the living hell out of each other. I mean, it was crazy, absolutely crazy how much they beat each other up in that. And again, you had Biker Taker, they'd be able to kind of let out, no streak, didn't even care about the streak, weren't even talking about that. So, yeah, to me I know a lot of people like talk about 27 a lot more, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that match, but I personally, it resonated in that that core memory. We talk about with Triple H in X17. I don't know. To me, that was it was a banger. And it could be also the fact that they were younger. Look, I just mentioned 2 of them that were 10 years apart. Okay, so changed in 10 years a little bit, but you still, at the height of your, Triple H especially, height of his popularity.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like watching that match. I feel like that match I feel like they was wrestling for 3 hours during that match, but you hung on to every minute because you was just entertained the whole time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's why those matches, like WrestleMania matches, need to do that. They have to. The idea that they have to draw you in. They know, depending on the match, you're going to get anywhere from, depending on the 15 to 28 minutes. If you're a main event, or if you're a highlight kind of situation, or if you're, but you can work with a lot. Like in 15 minutes, you can do a lot of stuff. Time management, the way you work the crowd, stuff like that. Like you said, sometimes the match can seem longer in a short amount of time, or, in a good way, or sometimes it's like, okay, can this get over with? It's over. I'm over it. And that gets, And that is where sometimes in the new style of wrestling, and I like a lot of different, like people bitch about flippy wrestlers, they bitch about technical wrestlers, they complain about this or that. But it's like, as long as you're telling the story and you make it work throughout it works, right? Evolution. Revolution, you had the House of Black versus the Elite. Storyline wise, that worked so well because they had the built-in storyline. That there was a bunch of high spots in there. They work though. It's not just high spot after high spot after high spot and no consequences. So as long as you have that for a match, you're good. You're good to go. And that's why I wanted to talk about non-title matches first, mainly because you're not going for a title. You're not going for. I didn't even really mention my list. I don't even have ones about retirement ones. I didn't bring up Shawn Michaels' retirement match. I didn't bring up Ric Flair's retirement because even though those are good matches, those had stakes. These matches, in a sense, don't have a stakes to them per se, but they made you remember those matches. Some people will say they'll remember some of these matches more than title matches.
Oh yeah.
So
because it was about the story, like because people always explain people when it comes to wrestling. It's like a reality show with comic book characters. Because like in comics, you have your memorable storylines with your favorite Marvel, DC, or Image superheroes. But I was going to say my Triple H versus Taker match is the third one, which is at 28. Hell in a Cell. Once again, streak is on the line. Shawn Michaels referee. Shawn Michaels already been retired. Triple H is trying to end, Triple H. It's the end of an era. It's the match that should have retired Undertaker, but it didn't.
No.
But just that whole match was just like a roller coaster. One of the best spots in WrestleMania was Shawn. He did a little sneak attack on Triple H where he did the sweet chin, comboed into the pedigree. You just knew, okay, Triple H. Triple H on the power trip. He about to win this. Taker kicked out. I said, "Oh my God, so much emotion! Oh my God, oh my God!" I just like Ron Burgundy. It was just a roller coaster. I was in just a glass case of emotion, just all over the place. And yeah, but don't get me wrong. 17 was good, but definitely 28 because the match they had at 27 sucked. Even though it was a build up, but it's just the way that the way the Undertaker just looked all old and decrepit from Triple H. I was like, this. I was like, looking back at it, story building, yeah, it made sense. But at the time, I was like, yeah, this match sucked. At that point, I was like, yeah, it's time for Undertaker to wrap it up. But yeah, a year later, I mean, Taker, he gave you about a good 15 minutes until his body started falling apart. Mm-hmm. But Triple H, but that match was just great because, like I said, Triple H definitely carried that man for like 22, 25 minutes. And then you had Shawn in there, it's crazy because then you got Shawn Michaels, he's retired, the GOAT, but he's like in this crazy, this funny, goofy gimmick of his. When I would just make sure where like even Shawn Michaels is on a roller coaster ride with the fans during that match. I mean, it was just like, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, I got you on that, man. I mean, there's been lots of matches. I mean, like throughout all different years and whatnot. Then I'll tell you one though that I'll have to put on here. Definitely is an honorable mention, and only because I didn't think it was going to happen, and I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. But it has to be Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania last year. All right, look, first off, nobody thought he was actually going to have a match, let alone a 13-minute match. 13 minutes. 13? Yeah, 13-minute match.
For some reason, I thought it was reported they did almost like 20 minutes.
Well, remember, they had all the pre-stuff on that first. Right. Remember the little Kevin Owens show? Yeah, I'm almost positive.
You could be right, but you could be right.
Yeah, let me just we'll just fact check that real quick here.
And while Doc is checking that, yeah, definitely. That was definitely a good fun match because nobody saw that coming. You just because everybody was wondering like, why is this closing at night one? Like, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, we all love our Stone Cold. Granted, Stone Cold could have went up there and just he could have went up there and talked trash and berated Kevin Owens for like 30 minutes, and it still would have been a great main event. But at the time, it was just weird until we saw that. Yeah, okay, these two Stone Cold really out here about to wrestle. Let's go.
Right. So yeah, it was about 14 minutes long, almost 14. Okay. But yeah, because of all the pre-show thing with him on the
yeah.
But still, the fact that he actually had a pretty good match. He took a vertical suplex on concrete. I'm like, come on. I was like, oh, he's gonna break his bionic the bionic redneck. He's gonna break his neck again.
Listen, this tells you this is a testament to Stone Cold. This man ain't wrestled in almost like 20 years. And this man went longer than Goldberg.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, easily. That was like 2 Goldberg matches. What are you talking about, man? He literally did like 2 Goldberg matches. And there you go, man. So again, I had to put that on this list because no one thought it was gonna actually happen. And it happened. Right. And it was crazy. It was awesome to see, It was really cool. So we do have, let's see, D-Town. Thanks again for joining us for talking about wrestling.
Shout out to you.
We do have, looks like we got Mr. Phil versus Undertaker. Okay, well, CM Punk versus Undertaker. So, what do you think about that, Sauce?
I mean, given what that card was, because that was the same. So all I remember was that was the same WrestleMania card as Triple H versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh gosh.
So yeah. So them two definitely, they stuck out. I'm gonna be honest with you, my mind is drawing a blank on the rest of that card, but like Taker versus Punk, it was pretty decent build up, pretty decent match and whatnot. And at this point, I'm just like, okay, Mark, when we wrapping this up? Oh, it was 20. Okay, Mania 29. It was
yeah 29.
Yeah, and I'm just like, it was entertaining. I think it was really more entertaining just to see what Phil was gonna do, or how he was gonna, work this match. How was he going to carry this match? Because prior to last time the two fought, I believe it was in a cage match, and basically Punk had to give up his belt because he was so outspoken in the back. Even though
doghouse, remember that was you were in the doghouse
against the man who tried to give him advice and say, listen, if Vince and them or whoever tells you to do something while you champion, you just shut up and do it. While you are the champion,
right?
But and then Taker beat him for the belt then, and then what? A couple years later, he beats him again. Jump for the streak. Or not, and at that point, I think that's the last. That was the last. Actually, yeah, I think that was the last Mania match we got from Phil.
Yeah, pretty much because he had wrestled at Royal Rumble, lost the belt, so The Rock could have get the belt and do all this stuff great for WrestleMania. Twice in a lifetime or whatever, right?
And what they should have did, and I mean, if you can go back and rebook something, what they should have did was just have Punk on to the belt, and you could just have Punk versus Rock versus Cena, and that still would have been a dog ass main event.
Oh yeah, that would have been amazing. It would, and I just watched a interview. I don't know how old the interview was, but it was an interview with Jericho, and apparently Jericho would always try to give CM Punk advice. And I know more stuff's come up later with AEW, but this was something for when he was in WWE. Yeah. And he said, basically told him that he was upset because he wasn't main eventing WrestleMania, as in reference to this match.
Yeah.
This match 29. And Jericho basically was trying to explain to him, like, look, you got like, he was trying to compare it to his match with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
There's always a match that steals the show. That's correct. Yeah. There's a match that's not the main event that steals the show at WrestleMania. This year's WrestleMania, we Gunther versus whoever. that is going to steal it. Now, Logan Paul match has a possibility too with Seth Rollins. But I'm already calling it now. Gunther versus, hopefully, it's a triple threat match. Hopefully they make that actually a triple threat match. But you're always going to have that. And that's what Jericho was trying to explain to Mr. Brooks. He didn't want to hear any of it. And this is, according to him in this interview, that he was kind of saying that he just kind of cried about it. That, well, it's not the main event. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's like, and he didn't have anything else for him. Because at that point, you're just going to have a temper tantrum like a little baby,
Yeah.
But yeah, people do widely regard that match as a really good match. But at that point, you're not going to upseat the Rock Cena 2. But Sauce had the best idea. It should have been a triple threat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because
I'm pretty sure he didn't get a rematch for the belt.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure.
Nope.
So there you go.
Dwayne was not about to do that.
Nah. I still want my Brock 2. He never got the rematch after Brock Lesnar beat him. Give me that now. Give me that. There you go. That sells itself.
That's going 8 minutes.
That's going 8. Yeah. Rock's like, I can only take like one suplex. Like, no, I want more. He grabs it. He does like 5 suplexes to him.
And you hear Rock just say, "You mother."
Yeah, he would sell it so much too, though. His face would be like,
So I know you still wanted to talk about some championship matches, but I will say before we get to there, can I give you one more non-title match?
Hit me, man. Go ahead.
Christian versus Jericho, WrestleMania 20. Little rivalry that they had.
Yeah.
Then, of course, then the finish was awesome. And then, of course, because Trish comes out there, they both, it was like this love triangle. Trish screws over Y2J, and Christian gets the W and walks off with Trish. And it was great because it was great for both guys. Jericho didn't really need the win anyway. It was good for Trish, So, but like that match, them two definitely put on a little clinic. Was potential show stealer. I would say honestly, it was if Dead Man Taker versus Kane hadn't happened that night, that show. I mean, that would have been like the show stealer for the crowd. Christian versus Jericho that night.
Yeah, they had a good build up on that too, especially with that little like you said, the love triangle type thing. Yeah, it was good. Seeing Jericho in a different light there. Because Jericho always can play both sides, the heel, the face.
Yep.
He's just always better as the heel. I mean, that's his natural. But he can do like both when it comes to that. So, but Christian, people kind of sleep on Christian, like about how good of a heel he could be.
Oh yeah.
And
now you're starting to hear. Now you're starting to hear, like, a couple years later, like, people talk about, like, how Christian doesn't get enough credit for, like, what a master psychologist he is in that ring. But the problem is when you work for a company where everybody's, like, twice your size, and whatnot, it's hard, and then or whatnot, you always get booked in the mid-card. People don't really see that.
Right. Oh, yeah. It's kind of funny you mentioned Christian, and this is then we'll kind of move on. Because when I was going through these WrestleManias to watch, there was a WrestleMania X18. Christian fought DDP for the European Championship. Yep. And that DDP was in the, it's me. And he was like the motivational speaker, which worked. And it should have been the first thing he did, but we're not going to talk about all that. And then that was when Christian was the temper tantrum Christian. Yep. They were in Toronto, but yet he was like, I'm from Florida now. I'm not from Canada anymore. And he did his temper tantrums glorious, and it was a good match. It was a good match,
Yep.
That's all. Just the evolution of him. And then D-Town guy, we do have a chat here. Future builds after Mania, after WrestleMania, I'm assuming is what you're saying there. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on certain people if they're going to build off of it or not. Some people do get the brub. Some people they get shoveled back to the back. And like, here's a good point. We're going to talk more about WrestleMania, of course, in a couple weeks when we have our big pre-show, basically our pre-show for WrestleMania. But I just mentioned Gunther. Okay, Gunther right now is slated to fight either McIntyre or Sheamus. I think it's going to end up being a triple threat match.
Yeah.
Because two things will happen. One, you get the great rematch that we needed with Sheamus. McIntyre has worked his butt off all year. Great feuds, looking good, really good face. Arguably one of the top faces. That's
Yeah,
not
like I
like,
said, top baby face right now.
here's where you can have Gunther lose and not get pinned. Sheamus wins, deserves the belt. Gunther moves on up the chart, moves up the chart, and then he can go into a world title contention there. You know what I'm saying? Or like that's to me the best way to have him not look weak and lose. Put on a great match. Future build, that's one right there. I would book. Pop H.
Give you free gold over here.
but yeah, so I figured we could go into just a handful of the like the title matches now. So basically, we kind of went with non-title. Now we're going with title matches, and obviously there's a lot of big heavy hitters here. There's going to be a lot of crossover, but I did purposely put on some that are not so they're not as set or whatever. But if you want sauce, hit me with one. Hit me with one of your memorable
right here. Ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania 16, also known as WrestleMania 2000. Which a lot of people always bring this up, but I got to bring it up again. Which that particular WrestleMania theme song became eventually, after being recycled through like many other black performers, the theme song eventually ended with Teddy Long. But one of my favorite matches of that whole entire night, even like when I was younger, when I was like still, like of course, enjoyed my Rock McFoley. But the match I felt that definitely stole the show, that was match of the night, was Kurt Angle when he was the European Intercontinental Champion versus Jericho versus Canada Man.
Yep.
And that whole match, I remember just watching it. I'm like, man, I'm just watching just pure wrestling going on. You got the GOAT, Kurt Angle. You got the GOAT, Y2J. You got the other piece of whatever you want to call it, Canada Man over there. Even he was like that's another match where if you want somebody, so there's two different type of wrestling fans you can show matches to. You can show like a casual fan, like who really don't know much about it. Whatever, you show them the Rock, you show Rock versus Hogan, the theatrics, the crowds. But if you want to show somebody, if there's somebody that wants to get wants to take a deep dive into wrestling, this was a good match. Because even though the wrestling was, wrestling was great, but you still had a little bit of character in there. So you got the Ayatollah Rock and Roller, Chris Jericho. You got, like I said, you got Canada Man, dudes just like pound for pound wrestling. Then you got the obnoxious and lovable Kurt Angle, who was champion, coming in all brash and arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
So with all this pure wrestling ability, you still get these little characters as well. They all mesh well together. And then the best part was the cocky, arrogant Olympic gold medalist walked in with all this gold and walked out with no gold, and didn't even get pinned.
Yep.
One time to lose his gold.
It was perfect. It was just such a perfect way to book that match, because they were always so high on Kurt Angle, make him Eurocontinental champion, and it was awesome. It was so good. Oh, so good, And like you had just mentioned, the fact that matter is triple threat match rules. Sometimes when they're booked right, they're booked right. And this way it was booked perfect. He doesn't even have to lose. So oh my God, that's crazy. But it looks like we do have another chat here. We got one from we got Avery here. What's up, guys? Can't wait for Mania. Yeah. Hey, you know what? We can't wait either, man.
Hey, Avery, we need you to throw down one of your favorite Mania matches.
Yep. Favorite Mania match, title match, non-title match. Hit us with it, man.
Just give us something. We get a chance.
But so yeah, that match, that's a great match that's overlooked nowadays, mainly because you know, people obviously like whether they want to talk about that rabid fellow that was in that match. He was kind of excitable like a Wolverine, I think. I don't know, but he was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or for whatever reason, but it showed the fact of how high they were on Kurt Angle, so high they pushed him to the moon. And they continued to, obviously, after that, because he deserved it.
And that was that was still his rookie season.
Yep, yeah, it was how much he accomplished in that first year.
Yeah,
insane, absolutely insane. So, but yeah, no, that's a great pick right there. And obviously there was a lot of other matches. A lot of other matches on here, and I kind of wrote a bunch of stuff here and there. Or whatnot.
Give it to me, Doc.
But actually, I swear to God, this is hilarious. It's I wrote this down as an honorable mention right here. But Avery, Money in the Bank WrestleMania 21.
I remember who was in that match.
That is very funny, mainly because I have it wrote down as an honorable mention on mine. Yeah. So now you got to remember Money in the Bank. Oh, how I miss it at WrestleMania. And they really, I get it now that it makes money. Hell, it's in London this year and they sold out tickets in like 5 minutes.
Oh, that's the first one. Okay.
Yes, it was the first one, that Edge won. So, but the fact of the matter is they should have had Money in the Bank at both the men's one night and the women's the second night, or vice versa. That would have brought on a lot more talent on WrestleMania that could get the WrestleMania payday. People like Money in the Bank. It's an exciting ladder match. Yep. To me, I know you have Money in the Bank later. You know what? But that's the whole intriguing part of it. If Money in the Bank had been scheduled later in the year, you could have argued, you could have done that, had the WrestleMania logo on it, like they used to. They would have the WrestleMania logo for Money in the Bank. Then you can use that. Then there'd be a second one. And you could even have that one. And no one ever said you can't have two contracts. Like, what if one person's like, I got mine here from WrestleMania? Well, I waited and I got mine from Money in the Bank. All right, triple threat match. Let's go. Or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it easily could have happened. So I still think that could have happened now. I'm just saying. But yeah, that Money in the Bank, still, the fact that it was a brand new concept there and it worked so well, good pick there. And then, of course, we do have Avery with Roman versus Brock, with Seth cashing in. Yes, I would say absolutely, because best cash in of all time. I do like Dolph Ziggler's cash in and Del Rio after WrestleMania. I do like that cash in, but that wasn't at WrestleMania. That was at Raw. So arguably that right there, my God, I remember watching it, and me and my brother lost our shit. We did, because you hear the sound, and he run. Like, you see how fast he was running down that ring? Like, he was going down that ring so fast.
No, he ran down that ring faster than Little Nate.
Little Nate was coming in. Oh my gosh.
I think Seth ran like a 4.3 down that ramp.
Right. And it set precedent too, because he was the first one to cash in to make it a triple threat match. He was the first to cash in for that, make a triple threat match. Every other time it was cashed in after the match, after they beat up, or to set up a match like RVD. I cashed in to then set up a match, an official match. But gosh, you can't say much more about it though. So that's a great pick there, Avery, A-Town. We got A-Town in the house, so of course. But as for me though, I also, we actually briefly mentioned it earlier, but the Angle versus Guerrero. Such a good match at WrestleMania 20. you know. And what makes the match even the best part is just the ending. Was the
Yep.
damn ending. Like you got Eddie Guerrero and his lie, cheat, and steal, his cheating ways, and you've never seen someone actually do that. Unlace their boot, he's in the ankle lock, which once he gets from the super ankle lock, it's donezo. You're donezo.
Yep.
And he rips the boot off, and he's like, and then he just, oh my gosh. So the cool part about it, I guess, is the fact that Eddie Guerrero can go down in history as, oh, hold on, forgot, man of the house here. There you go, buddy. So I had to make sure. Hey, you got to make sure to appease Brutus. All right? But
Long
Eddie
live
Guerrero
Brutus.
goes down. Long live Brutus. But yeah, it's fun. Guerrero goes down in history as someone that's retained the belt, the world title at WrestleMania, and that's a very small group of people that can say they've done that. So yeah, and I know you appreciate that a lot because I know you are an Angle fan.
Oh, I'm an Angle boy.
Angle. Mm-hmm.
But they had but definitely with that, because I was thinking about throwing that in there because I threw a whole bunch in here, and obviously we probably not gonna be able to get through them all. But that was definitely one, that was definitely on my radar when I was going back looking at these cards. And I used to love, that match was like great because, especially the fact that Guerrero retained, because you just knew Kurt was coming in. Because at that time, Kurt was like almost like he was going through his Super Cena moments, where like if Angle was in the title picture, you might as well kiss your belt goodbye.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, no one really, because Eddie Guerrero winning was it was great. It was really good because they but everyone in a sense knew. Oh well, he's not going to keep it for that long. They kind of knew he wasn't. But yeah, it was such a good spot. It was good. It was cool to see that, and of course you do. The winning at the end of WrestleMania 20. You have that great moment there with Canada Man and Guerrero. And yes, we can still say that it was a great moment. The confetti coming down. These two guys that did deserve world championships. So, but that match though with Guerrero Angle, it really showcased how much Angle could do in a match. You know what I'm saying? And put over somebody like Guerrero too. So, but yeah. So excuse me. So what do you got though? What's
Okay, so
that,
my next one. So now that we got the TLC pay-per-views, but none of this would have been possible was, once again, I'm going back to WrestleMania 16, 2000, with the Dudley Boys who came in as champions versus Edge Christian versus the Hardys. We don't get without this match. We don't get these. These I call them these filler December pay-per-views known as TLC.
Oh my gosh. Which I think are gone now. I think they're gone now under the Triple H regime. So thank God. I know.
But like with these two, like this was the pinnacle of Attitude Era tag team wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You got three groups that are hot. You put them together with with little stuff, unique stuff they bring to the table. They come in, they tear the house down, and I think, if you can easily argue that this could have been the show stealer. This match could have been show stealer as well. So there's really, between this and that triple threat, there's really no wrong answer between the two.
Well, you got to remember too, like you basically said the two matches on that card that actually gave was good. Like that pay-per-view was so underwhelming, except for those matches. Those matches right there made that show. The main event was ill-conceived, didn't make any sense to do because there was no ramifications, because literally the next day everyone was all fine and dandy again. Mick Foley, they drug him out of retirement after he was like, I'm retired. And they're like, nah, you got to come back and wrestle. It's like, but why? Why? I don't want to come back and wrestle.
And it's crazy because, and that was the Mania where, like you said, it felt underwhelming because you had no Stone Cold, you had no Undertaker. So a lot of other no HBK, so a lot of other heavy hitters I can't think on the top of my head right now. Well, not so, with Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, And then kind of find out, shout out to Devon, because you found out he had a fear of heights, and I'm pretty sure he was on a few Xanax before he did that match. But they, as they say, they did the business and did what they had to do. I mean, listen, and then the rest is history.
It really is.
And it was crazy because at the time, I don't think Edge and Christian were tag team. I don't think they had I don't think they ever had became tag team champions for that match. So, yeah, as far, I mean, I could be wrong, but I want to say them together, because obviously they didn't win gold when it was with the Brood. They didn't win gold when it was with the Ministry. But this was I think this was their first. Yeah, this is the first time they won tag team gold together, and which eventually spawned off into the first heel run. I mean, not first heel run, but it was spawned off into the legendary heel run with the 3 seconds of photography.
Oh, this looks good. Look at that. We did it on the first try, man. We moved on the first try. I like that.
So this definitely, and then they got that huge push. And then obviously, this match led to the official TLC, which happened at SummerSlam. And then the following Mania, which is 17, we got TLC 2. And I think after that point, they was like, listen, y'all, we can't keep doing these we can't keep doing these every year.
They're like, I'm broken. He's broken in half. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, I remember watching that match, and I'm just like, holy crap.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, all this is going on, and like, it's just like, and it was just, whoever booked that match was a pure genius at the
time. Oh, absolutely, man. Oh, but
so what you got for us, Doc?
I'm going to just kind of group a couple matches together here, just because they kind of had the same feeling for them. But I'm going to group in both, obviously, the WrestleMania 30 with Bryan Danielson and Batista or Orton, and of course Kofi Mania 5 years later against Daniel Bryan. So obviously, because of this is where fans can dictate a match. And they listen to the fans. Look at Daniel Bryan and how the Yes movement just absolutely was insane at that time. It was, something you've never seen, how crazy like these fans were and how they hated Batista. Like, talk about utter hatred. It was insane how much they hated him. And they loved Daniel Bryan. So it's like, okay, what are we going to do about this? I got an idea. Let's take it. Let's make it work. But he's got to work for it. So they did the whole against the authority. I'm fighting you guys all the whole time, or whatever they were.
Or against the Shield.
The Shield. Thank you, Shield, all that stuff. And then he had to fight Triple H opening match to even get a chance to be put in the triple threat. Of course, he's in the triple threat. What really? Yeah. Come on. Still not a bad match. Not a bad opening match too with Triple H.
Yeah, that match was hot, and then the finisher when he did the running knee to Triple H.
Yeah, Triple H.
Like how crisp, that spot was.
Yep.
Man.
So the fact that you had and then the Yes movement prevailed, and then the crowd just went crazy, and then you fast forward 5 years, and now it's the shoe's on the other foot, and it must have been very interesting and humbling for Daniel Bryan, right? That he was part of this 5 years earlier. The fans are still into you, even when you're the heel. Eco Warrior, loved it. When he had the hemp belt, the wood hemp belt, come on. Like, how cool is that? But the fact that he's on the other end of that now, but they still like you, but it's all about Kofi. Like, it must have been surreal to feel that way, right? And then when Kofi wins, such a nice spot. Yes, the majority of wrestling fans knew he wasn't going to hold the belt that long. He did hold it longer than I thought. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he held the belt. He held it quite a minute,
right?
I want to say, I want to say he was champion around November, then lost to that Mania or something like that. As far as Daniel Bryan, wait. We talking about the hemp Bryan? We're not talking about the WrestleMania 30 Bryan, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, like the Eco Warrior, as I like to call
Eco Warrior
him.
Bryan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I want to say, because the WrestleMania 30 Bryan, I think he kept the belt I want to say because I think that happened in April. I think he might have carried it to maybe July, about 3 months, and then that's when he had to basically retire because of concussions. Because they literally booked him into concussions.
Yeah,
The way they had him wrestling like every week. But
I know,
yeah,
right? So that sucked. That was
yeah.
terrible. Oh,
But I would say, Doc, that was a pretty good call as far as WrestleMania 30, that main event. And then, like you said, you got the what was it,
the Kofi Mania.
The Kofi Mania. But no, I was talking about WrestleMania 30. You had the announcer table spot where you basically had the Batista Bomb / RKO spot.
Yes. Yep.
And then you got Triple H, interfering. It's one thing I always think about that match. Like, had Phil not been, a crybaby little prick, just imagine if they would have did the angle where they just fired him, right?
Right.
And then obviously he would have been gone from Rumble. Like, basically he would have went on a rant, whatever, night after the Rumble. Basically would have got him suspended, keep him off TV until the night, so basically till Mania. The Authority, everybody's just beating up on Daniel Bryan. All of a sudden, you hear that, and then Punk could have came out. And he could have basically got a Stone Cold pop, like when Stone Cold came out with that glass breaker, Hell Foley win that first belt.
Yeah,
like Phil could have came out, and then went out there, just ran out, help out Daniel Bryan, and then him and Triple H go fight each other off to the backstage. They would have had a nice little summer feud. But Phil, let's say your crybaby ways, ruined it. But Doc, as far as like that finish, WrestleMania 30, you see to Daniel Bryan with the triple X's, set in front of triple X's with the belts.
That was cool. And here's something about that too. That's the last WrestleMania that they used Roman numerals. They did not use numbers after that. They just did different logos. Hey, NFL, they do different logos that are unique to each city and cool looking. Not like the same logo. Maybe go back to that for Super Bowl. Just saying. Yeah, I'm looking at you. That was always the cool thing. It's my pet peeve. I always like when you have a cool logo. I do miss the Roman numerals, and I think they are next year doing 40 is XL because it's in Philadelphia. The logo so far is like the bell, and it says XL on it.
Yeah, imagine I could just imagine all the Gen Zers try to figure out what's all this stuff. What's these letters on here?
Why does it say? Is it extra large? I'm a medium. I'm a medium tall and a youth. Thank you. But looks like we do have a chat here. Oh, you got it. Okay, we got from Avery. Ray versus Kurt versus Orton at Mania 22. Yes, actually very underlooked match there, but yeah, good pickup on that one. Yeah, this match. Okay, so here's my thing about this match. Yes, did Rey Mysterio deserve to be world champion? Yes, he's done a lot in wrestling. His wrestling career. He's being inducted in the Hall of Fame this year, rightfully so. This was all just because of the situation that happened to me with Canada Man. This was just if that never happened, he's never going to be at risk. He's never going to win the world championship. It's never going to happen. I mean, what do you think about that, Sauce? That's just my opinion.
Well, wasn't that because of Guerrero? Because Guerrero died in 2005, and then Ray.
That's what I mean. I'm sorry. That's what I meant. I mean, I knew what I was saying, but with Guerrero. 06. Yeah, sorry. I meant Guerrero.
You Doc, listen. To all those who are unaware, it's Eastern. This is Eastern Michigan time. It's 10:00 p.m. So, our bodies are running on fumes right now. Especially everybody, getting sick and germs and crap and yada yada yada. But anyway, so what I feel about the basic way I feel about this match, the match was fun, the match was enjoyable, I enjoyed it, but it was just a build up. I think me personally, it was really just Ray Mysterio versus Orton, and they just threw Kurt Angle as a champion in there. Because obviously, the Royal Rumble situation, they, as far as Ray winning, and then I think he like lost it. I think he like Orton cheated at like No Way Out to take his number one contender. Then Teddy, oh, I don't even know if Teddy Long was there. Who remembers? I don't remember who GM of SmackDown was by then. By 06. It might have been Teddy Long. I can't remember. But it just really felt like it was really a Rey Mysterio versus Orton. They just shoehorned Angle with the belt in there.
Yeah, I feel like that's what sometimes they'll do that for a triple threat if they feel like it's not going to have the star power that they believe it should have. So then I feel like that's what happened here. I feel like they thought the match couldn't be enough on its own. So still a good match though, still entertaining match.
Don't get me wrong, the match itself was good. It was just the build up and the booking was just weird. Like if you had Rey Mysterio versus Angle, I mean, it still would have been good. It would have been just like to me, it basically would have been a part 2 of Rey versus Guerrero at WrestleMania. What was it? WrestleMania 20. I think they fought like the year before.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, because Angle, got the same, he's got a lot of similar tools as Eddie Guerrero, so they could have tore the house down, and everybody was going to be behind Rey anyway because of the fortunate events of Guerrero. But it was just like I said. But I agree with you, Doc. The match very good. I agree with you, Avery. Match was pretty solid. It was enjoyable, but it's just the booking was just weird. That's all. The booking to me, I was just like, eh.
So I do have a chat here. I think I just have to. I'm not sure what this is about. So CBM said, but did Holly like Blue Tista? So I have to let you know, CBM. She doesn't know about the Blue Tista thing. So it might be. Yeah.
So the reason why you're asking that because she walked by with a blue T-shirt on.
It's so funny, Sauce, because I didn't even see that. So good pickup, CBM. I like it.
I saw her walking by with Brutus.
Oh, that's funny. I like it. So yes, no, she doesn't like Blue Tista. No, she does. But that's good. I like that. But I'll tell you right now, guys, I've been having a good time talking about these WrestleMania clips here. And we could literally, I have a whole list of stuff here. It's a little late. We've been talking for a while. So what we'll do is this. So next week, we will kind of do a continuation of some of these matches, but then we're also going to talk majorly about the women's matches throughout WrestleMania. And there wasn't, look, nothing against the women, but there hasn't been nearly as many compared to the men, obviously. So we'll kind of do a little bit of combine on that one for highlights and everything, and then talk a little bit more about the WrestleMania card, because right now it's getting more solidified by the day.
Getting beefy.
And yep, exactly. And we'll see where it goes from there. But obviously, one thing we do every week is we do have to do our heat of the week. And I'm going to go first because I think I'm just excited to see everything after WrestleMania, where this goes. But I got to go with my boy, LA Knight, baby.
Hey.
LA Knight. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
We got it. This guy, they're so high on him. Deservingly so. Great wrestling ability. Great look. Charismatic as hell. What'd you say earlier, Sauce? About charisma and where it'll take you?
Yep.
There are rumors, only rumors at this point, that Austin might wrestle LA Knight in a match, which would be similar to whatever happened with Kevin Owens. My only problem with this is this. I think it would be great, but it took so long to get rid of the what chance. And they're just going to come back. But it would be funny. What? Yeah. What? Yeah. It could be like 10 minutes of that. There you go. The fans are going to lose their mind for that. But being serious, he just fought Cody Rhodes in the match. Just on Raw, he's been put in high-profile matches. Yeah. So I think they're getting ready for a high-profile push. He might even go for Money in the Bank. I could see him winning Money in the Bank this year. So me, got to go with Mr. L.A. Knight.
I 100% agree with you, Doc. Now that he finally got done with that dragged out program with Bray Wyatt, it was just kind of it was that situation where you just kind of it's you have those moments where you got your job, you got a task that you don't want to do, but because you're a company guy or like you believe in the company, you believe in the company or you love your job, so you deal with it anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like once he's got done with now that he's removed from the whole Bray Wyatt thing, now people get to see. Now we get we get to see we get to see better LA Knight now. We're like I don't want to say the best of because he hasn't really been in WWE that long like that, but I would say now people are now that he's not involved in dragged out storylines or whatever. Now now it's every week. This. Talking points here, punchline there, this and yada yada yada. Now that we got to this point, yeah, I think 2023 is going to be bright for LA Knight, and definitely don't be surprised if he somehow finds his way in some type of mid card, not necessarily mid card run, but like he might be involved in like some mid card, chasing some mid card belts.
Yeah, I like it. I'm all about that. So,
So
so who
if
would
you
you
got,
give?
oh
So who
my
would you
bad.
give for your heat of the week, man?
Oh, before I give it, if you guys ever get a chance, look at I think what was it on YouTube on Impact's site. But LA Knight did like his 6 favorite dummies over there. Oh, it was a great little 12-minute segment. But if you
Yes.
ever,
Yep.
he literally had like the what was it, the staples? That's easy. That was easy button.
The
But he would just like every time he hit it, it would just go. He would just go like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, it was the dummy. It was the dummy button.
He was like
He'd be like,
dummy.
dummy, yeah, dummy. And then when he's Impact Wrestling, he did wrestle under his name Eli Drake, which I do like to
Yeah,
mention a lot, just because I worked so good, and I knew when they changed his name here, you still get the same connotation and the cadence. Eli Drake, L.A. Knight, and
it
I think
would
it
be
works.
it would be cool if they can like if they can go with that again, bring that back over where he has like his little dummy button.
Oh my gosh, please,
But
I would I'll
But
do
the
it.
only thing is, the only problem is, I know the merch goes a long way for a character, but yeah, that you cannot sell those you cannot sell those buttons because you'll have like everybody in the arena going dummy, 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 dummy,
Oh my
or you
gosh,
can't. They have to put a disclaimer like y'all cannot bring those in here.
right? Oh my,
You cannot bring those to the show. We will
yep.
confiscate them.
You are. We'll take it away.
Yep. So I guess I go with my heat of the week. I gotta go with Grayson Waller. Every week he
Yeah.
shows that he's definitely at this point he's the top heel in NXT. He's the top heel over there. So at this point, I'm like what he's doing every week. I mean, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit for him over there, and I was like I said, I watch NXT on mute every Tuesday when we do this. And yeah, you just he's doing a little thing now with Johnny Gargano, which is at this point, the best move for Gargano is basically down there with Apollo Crews just to put over talent because they ain't really making much of a difference on the main roster. So a
Yeah.
little Gargano, a little Grayson Waller, I'm not mad at it. Do a little program real quick here, to keep the Waller train going. So yeah, with that being said, definitely Grayson Waller, definitely my heat of the week right now.
I like it. Good pick. Good pick there. But like I said, we only got 2.5 weeks or so till WrestleMania. It's gonna be a big show, another double night type situation. Got the show going. Sauce will be there. We're gonna have a good time, And like I said, by next week we're gonna have that card pretty much solidified. Um, Most people already kind of know what's gonna happen, but we'll see. We might get a couple surprises here. We'll see. We'll see. But unless you had anything else, Sauce, I think we hit a big knock into that and bringing up WrestleMania's past. Thank you to everyone that was chatting with us and giving us other matches to talk about. Some that weren't even on my list at all. So that's good.
Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
will say one more thing. Just want to give a shout out. Apparently, your brother-in-law's birthday is coming up this weekend, so shout out to him.
Yep, we're having a party on here on Saturday. So, yep, definitely come on over. It's gonna be a good time. So,
Oh
yes, I'm
yeah.
inviting everyone to come over. It's this random house. There you go.
So shout out to Jimbo. Happy birthday to Jimbo.
Yep, yep. But with all that being said, it's another good night. And I'm Dr. Love. And of course, I can't do this without him. But you got Sauce Bronson right there.
I don't know why he lying to y'all every week
Ah,
because
I never lie.
I
I
just
took a
work here.
Hippocratic oath. I don't lie. What do you say? But
But yeah,
yes.
but other than that, at the end of the day, y'all stay happy, y'all stay safe, but more importantly, be good.